that a Glock in your pocket?
No,
What?
it's 2 Glocks. Oh! I'm not gonna be the good guy. I'm gonna be the great guy.
Okay, well...
Like the ones and the O's in binary code, these are the days of an AI's life. Because we're talking movies, we're talking Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, and Little Ray Howard. Written by Matt Lieberman and Zach Penn, directed by Shawn Levy. Oh, this coffee's so good. It's like losing my virginity, but in my mouth.
Well, Scott, I'm glad you're enjoying your coffee. Don't have a good day. Have a great day. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? Tonight, we're talking about the summer blockbuster, especially considering it's been COVID. The summer blockbuster Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds. So, Scott, how'd you like it? Take us away.
I was gonna say, I have a feeling we're probably going to disagree on this film. But before we get to that, all I gotta say is Canadians just do it better.
Yeah, they do.
We got a whole old Canada up here, and it's been a minute since we've had a Heritage Minute with Chris on the show. So, would you like to give the listeners a little Canadian pride?
I mean, I was gonna kind of hit it as we get to those spots, but you are right. Like, there's some definitely some heavy hitter Canadians in this film. But basically, just like before we kind of get into it, you how many times did you watch this film?
I've watched it twice so far.
So, did you watch it originally when it came out? Did you see it in the theater? Did you do VOD?
No. I didn't do theater. I watched it when it got released 45 days after the theater on Disney Plus, and then watched it yesterday to refresh myself for this podcast.
Yeah, you were saying before we started our show, you watched it in an interesting location. So I was kind of want you to talk about that.
No, I was watching it in the parking lot of Bigamans because my oldest went with her friend to their like Halloween horror park. So okay. Instead of driving home and then driving back in case they chicken out, I just sat in the parking lot watching this, laughing. I'm pretty sure that was probably more scary to all the people parking their cars and walking away.
Just there's some random old man in a parking lot laughing hysterically. That's that could have been a bit problematic, and you're lucky you didn't have a little interaction with our local finest police department there. Yeah, I mean, this is I want to know why you think that we're going to disagree on this. I want to know where you think that disagreement's going to be.
Well, this is 100%.
Unless you think this should be on like the AFI's top 100 fucking film list.
No.
Then yeah, clearly we're going to disagree.
No, nothing like that. But I'm sure it will be eventually, because there are some good one-liners on this film.
Mom, are you serious with the vacuum right now? You really have to do that here? I'm saying my catchphrase. Everybody's watching. God.
You're 22 living in my house. There is no God.
Sorry, guy.
So I think he'll make it for at least quotes. Just the coffee lines alone were fucking amazing.
Yeah, the coffee lines I think were actually, and it's odd. Like when I was getting my quote for the show, I was like, looking at the standard ones. I forgot about that entire section. Like,
Jeez, that's good. It's like losing my virginity, but in my mouth.
I wonder how many of I wonder how much of that was like ad-libbed, and they were just like, let's do another take. Come up with something fun and creative to do, and just like run a bunch of them out. Like I'd love to see like 10 or 15 of those just like right in a row, like boom, boom, boom. Ryan Reynolds just trying to like hold it together while he does it. You know what I mean?
Whew, it's like Jesus washed my tongue. Right before he finished, he finally told my dad he's good enough.
Yeah, and doing like him playing technically I would say the straight guy in this, right? Because
Well, he kind of played
it's all
Ryan
dead.
Reynolds.
Yeah, it's all the deadpan stuff. Like even when they're like, "We need you to get out of that skin," and he was like, "I don't know how to do that. Like I want to comply, but your your requests are very confusing." Like, so I think in terms of like this is 100% just a popcorn film. Like
It's candy fucking corn. Candy fucking
Yeah.
corn, 100%.
No, because no one eats fucking candy corn. You open the bag, you throw it out, and you go eat the Reese's Pieces. Nobody eats fucking candy corn, right? But people will eat this up.
But if you did eat candy corn, I feel like this is what the visual interpretation of what eating candy corn might be like. Or you would throw up. I'm not quite sure, because you're right. Nobody's ever actually eaten a piece of candy corn in the history of candy corn, but
yeah. So, and just doing this podcast with you for so long, the popcorn films usually don't make it. Like there's no critique, there's no Tim Burton on here. There isn't any Art Deco that's gonna like be like, boom, there it is, right? It's just literally like, here's a smorgasbord of current pop culture, and
which Chris probably has no idea what even the pop culture references are. I'm like, I don't know what is comical about this scene. It's too brand new for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, well, watching this when I watch this at home with my kids, like them like literally popping and like getting super excited for all these YouTubers that had cameos in this film, and they're like, oh, there's Dan blah 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 blah, and there's this guy, and I'm like, I have no idea who
so the
are.
Twitch streamers and stuff like that, those were like real people?
Yeah, those are real. Like those are those people's jobs, playing video games and streaming it.
We keep looking for that rainbow over here, fans out there. So if you want to send us like $1 or $3 million, we will be more than happy. Hit us up on our Patreon.
Even though we don't have a Patreon,
but if we got the money, then we could get the Patreon. So you see, it's like a chicken and egg situation here. So
but yeah, so I guess we'll get this out of the way. Did you like this movie?
I did. It was so light and like comical, because again, I think without Ryan Reynolds just delivering those lines perfect, like he is perfectly cast in this role. Like again, the film is basically Ryan Reynolds in a video game, because like he's Canadian, he's super nice, like he's like the hottest, nicest celebrity in the world.
Is that a Glock in your pocket?
No,
What?
it's 2 Glocks.
Oh. And he plays
like that.
Go ahead.
I like that. I was gonna say I like that, how that's a quality you put to him. He's Canadian. It's like he should have like a maple leaf just tattooed to his face.
Oh, 100%, man. Like Ryan Reynolds is like maple syrup. He's like sweet and delicious to many out there, and comes directly from Canada, except they don't really make maple syrup in British Columbia. And he's so perfect in this, because he's good with that deadpan humor. He's good at playing like the upbeat, cheerful guy. He looks like someone who would be perfectly designed in a video game, because he's like aesthetically pleasing to everyone. So he just like he just controls the whole narrative, and he's great. And it was very, again, so I went into this, I didn't expect like cinematic fucking excellence, on the scale of like a Kubrick or Villeneuve or whatever, which is funny though, because Shawn Levy, his Oscar nod is for being a producer on Arrival, which is a Villeneuve film, which makes me wonder, what the fuck are they doing in Quebec that they keep turning out fucking all these like high-end fucking directors and shit? Because a lot of the big directors are not coming from Toronto or anywhere else in fucking Canada. They keep coming out of fucking Quebec. So whatever Quebec is doing, c'est bon. That is the extent of my French from like grade 4.
You should have gone très bien.
Très bien. And Anana, which is like one of my favorite French words to say, because it means pineapple, and it's from Télé Français.
Télé Français fantastique. Oups. Télé Français, Télé Français, Télé Français.
For everybody in Ontario, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about right now. It was good. I mean, so my quote actually feeds right into this. So Christy Lemire from Film Week, she said, about her own quote, she says, this is really derivative, but I had a good time and I laughed a lot more than I thought I would. If you're a fan of Ryan Reynolds, you get a lot of them here. And you know what? Bang, 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 100%. It's basically the Ryan Reynolds show with a bunch of supporting cast. It's fun. Yeah, like it's a fun movie. I don't need to watch it again. And I do have some criticism that we're going to get to in a bit. But really, like if you're sitting down to this expecting like this fucking cinematic experience, what the fuck were you thinking? Like it's
I'll let you talk I was going to say, I like the fact that this is an original IP. It's not something that's revisited every 3 to 4 years. It's not a sequel. And it's literally like, I'm sure because this movie did make so well and in a pandemic, they probably going to try to fast track a sequel or something like that for it.
I hope they don't actually. I hope they maybe.
But I was going to say, like, if it's just like a one and done, standalone film on its own, I think that is going to, endear more in the coming years, right?
100%, yeah. Because if you start punching it in the dick hole with like a bunch of shitty fucking spin-offs or sequels, it degrades the original IP. You know what I mean? But like I agree with you. If you just like leave this fucking thing alone, put the money in the bank, go on to another project, it can actually, hold itself up there as like a solid comedy. And you actually had talked about the fact a couple episodes ago, but the fact that like comedies, they're tough, right? Like they're now a tough genre. They're not really going to get the big wide releases and stuff. But this film made $331 million during a pandemic in theater. I'd love to know what it's making now that I think it's $6 on video on demand. How much did you? Anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
I didn't pay anything because it's on.
Oh
Disney
yeah, it's
Plus
part of
now.
your Disney subscription, right?
Yeah. So after 45 days, like they've, I think all the major studios now, I know Paramount Plus did it, Disney does it, where now they've technically shortened the window of theatrical releases. Instead of 60 days, it's now 45 days. And then after 45 days, it gets onto their streaming app, right?
Yeah, I rented it on Amazon. So I think it was like $6 or something.
Don't you have Disney Plus?
No, why would I have Disney Plus? The only thing on Disney Plus I ever watched was Hamilton and fucking every Treehouse of Horror from The Simpsons. So,
but Disney Plus is literally $5.99 a month. So you literally could have had the whole thing for a month for the amount you paid for that.
100%. And if I would have thought about that, that would have made a lot more sense. And usually that is what I would have done. To be honest, I didn't realize it was on fucking Disney Plus because I didn't look into it until I watched it. So yeah, I should have touched base with you a bit there. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to know what the streaming numbers on this fucking thing are, because if it did 331 in a theater, this is a perfect at-home movie. So like we've talked a lot about movies that don't translate well to the smaller screen. This is fine. This is fine. You could watch this on your fucking laptop because it's all pacing and dialogue, right? So like you don't have a big cinematic shot that you need to worry about. You're just like, it's fucking Ryan Reynolds saying some funny shit, dancing around.
But there are some pretty nice special effects in this film.
Oh, the motion graphics and the special effects in this were, especially the transition between the real world, the game world, the real world watching the game world through the screen, and like they did a great job. Like it is a fun little movie. Let's talk about actually who the biggest star of this movie though is, and that's Channing Tatum.
What? No way.
I'm joking, but like his whole character, what is it like? Something like Benjamin Revenge Buttons or something like that.
Gamers, listen up. This is Revengeman Buttons here.
And he's doing that like dirty little dance and stuff like that, and getting all sexual up on like Ryan Reynolds. It was so fucking hilarious. And I mean, also having like Taika Waititi in this. Fucking that guy is hilarious at like anything. Like him just like buying groceries is probably like a comic experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like in terms, that's what I'm saying. Like when you're talking about the AFI, like they have those quote ones too, right? Quote lists, and like Takiti had some awesome ones too. Like I don't care if he's Arnold v. Verninator or whatever. I want him terminated.
And I mean, I love his work. Watuki's he's got 2 Oscar nods. He's got a win. He's got a BAFTA win. Obviously, everybody knows Jojo Rabbit, but some of his other stuff. If you've ever seen Boy, which again takes place in New Zealand, because he's Maori, I believe. So Boy is good. What they do in the What We Do in the Shadows is hilarious. Eagle versus Shark is hilarious. Hunt for the Wilder People is so good. Like this guy, right? Because he's doing all again original IP kind of stuff, right? Like, you know, from script all the way up. He'll direct. He'll star in. And yeah, he's just super funny. I think he did Thor Ragnarok as well as a director, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
he's
doing the sequel, Love and Thunder.
Oh, is he? And he did a bunch of shorts around Thor as well, I believe. Like little short films.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
But he's just really good at playing like the comedic foil and being like he does outrageously silly in like a serious way. Like his character is being ridiculous, but he's playing it like playing it straight. Like that the character is just really ridiculous, but he thinks he's being very serious, right? So it's hilarious. It's that almost British style deadpan, like Aussie. He's from New Zealand. That kind of like deadpan British dry comedy, right? And he
do you want to do any other continent in there? So you've got an Australia, British. Do you want to add Canadian or American?
Well, but I would say that Canadians Canadians are not as deadpan dry in their British or in their humor. We're like not silly, like kind of like I don't know, like very unserious. When I think of Canadian comedy, I think of just like very laid back, very like ha ha ha, chuckle. I mean, like look who we make our prime minister. Like if that's not a big enough Canadian joke, I don't know what is.
Oh, now you got political here.
Boom!
There you go.
Take that, JT. And that's not just
okay. Yeah. Getting like going back because
getting serious about movies.
Yeah, getting serious. But in terms of where
that's my next podcast without you. It's called Getting Serious About Movies without Scott Vega.
Oh, there you go. He'll do very well. But getting back to the original question before you went on that tangent about the box office numbers, I think what helped it as well in terms of why it did so well was it wasn't one of these half and halves where it went theaters and it went streaming at the same time. Same with Candyman that we discussed, right? I think the reason why those ones did so well and way above expectations was they really gave no other audience member an option to watch it when it got released unless you actually got up and went to the theaters, right?
So weren't you I feel someone bearing your general description having this conversation when Warner Brothers was first doing the like simultaneous release and you thinking that was a very good approach to releasing films?
Yes. Yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, yeah. Right? Like if you look at this film, it was supposed to be released July 3rd, 2020. Then it got delayed to December 11th, 2020. Then it got rescheduled for May 21st, 2021. And then finally they just dumped it August 13th, right?
So do you think it was smart to hold back for them? Or do you think it would have made, I mean, obviously with hindsight, you can go, yeah,
I think it would have made the same amount of money regardless, right?
Yeah.
Like this was one of the films when this trailer first dropped, like my kid, well, almost all my kids were super excited to go watch it, right? Because they're just like, it's Ryan Reynolds in Fortnite. And that's what they thought, right? They're like, it's
oh my God, that's such a good, like that's basically the log line. Do you like Ryan Reynolds? Do you like Fortnite? Free guy. Boom.
Yeah, pretty much.
Put your kids on the payroll.
There you go. But yeah, so they wanted to see it from go, right? And then when it got delayed, it got delayed. But this, I think, also is, I'm not 100% sure of it, but I'm about 85% sure of it. I think this movie had to be released just in theaters because of the Fox Disney merger. I think that was kind of written in there. That's why they never really did. Never really did like, hey, we're just going to drop this like in the States Hulu and it'll be a Hulu original, and then it'll get released that way. I think it had to contractually be released for a certain amount of time in theaters.
Yeah, you could be right about that. And I mean, I think the general population is kind of like in the same vein as us. I mean, this thing, the critics gave it an 80. Like that's all for this kind of movie. Like this is the type of thing that can get like a fucking 25 from the critics and like a 98 from the audience, right? Critics gave it an 80. That's solid. 94 from the audience. That's solid. I mean, I feel like the audience that's watching this is already watching it because they are interested in like Ryan Reynolds or video games. So you're kind of already taking a subsect of the audience that's probably already going to be on board, but they're thoroughly enjoying it. Again, I don't think I need to watch it again. It's definitely an enjoyable movie. And again, it would be interesting. I should have actually got my daughter to watch it as well, because some of that reference stuff, I'm not even noticing, right? Like, because I'm not in that world. I'm 35 to 45, so some of that self-conscious stuff is just being lost.
See, I play 25 to 50. So
so you're good. So you're good. You get all that stuff.
Okay.
Did you? Is there a favorite scene? Is there anything that really kind of sticks out in your mind that you thought was really well done?
Yeah, like I liked the whole, because I'm gonna guess it was probably done in reshoots after the Fox Disney merger, where they had like that little, when they had the guy dude fight, and then all of a sudden it was all fucking Disney buy-up references. Like, yeah, the Marvel, yeah, Star Wars, like his face, like just
and seeing
like
Captain
that.
America, it's which Chris is that?
Chris Evans,
and he's like,
Chris Evans,
what the fuck?
or yeah, he's like, what the shit or whatever. But yeah, just watching that, it's kind of it was just like fucking just geeking out kind of thing. Just but yeah, like I just think the interactions as well, yeah, just put a little smile on my face.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right?
I mean, Ryan Reynolds it is the Ryan Reynolds show, but he is bolstered by like a solid supporting cast. You've got Jodie Comer, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm putting a French accent on it, but I'm pretty sure she's British. Who plays Millie in Molotov Girl. Who, if you've seen Killing Eve, which the first season of Killing Eve I think is great, but the cinematics in Killing Eve are fucking unbelievable. But she plays like the assassin. She can speak all these different languages and stuff like that. So she's great. She was in Rise of the Skywalker, and she's in The Last Duel, which I've yet to see. So she does great because she's actually playing like two characters that they're close to each other, but obviously like one is a like action hero and one is like a computer kind of nerd character. And she does a really good job of like having just enough subtle differences between the two that they're different, but they're also obviously the same. And then you got Joe Keery, who's obviously his big film or TV show was Stranger Things. I didn't love him. I didn't love him in this role. I don't know if it was maybe the script. There was something about it I couldn't really get on board with him. But then there's Little Rel Howery, who plays Buddy. So great, being like the overly cheerful, like security guard, best buddy all the time. He killed it. But I mean, he's got a solid pedigree. Get Out, Judas and the Black Messiah, Brittany Runs a Marathon. Like, he's a fucking standout actor.
Yeah, I'm gonna run something by you. Ready?
Do it. Go.
I don't think Ryan Reynolds ever has been nominated for an Oscar.
No.
Right?
He's not.
I'm gonna pitch something right now. You're gonna think about it, and you're gonna be like, just give him the award. Right?
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds playing John Candy in a biopic of John Candy's life. Because it just,
yeah, except I can feel it, but you're gonna have to. I mean, John, not a super handsome man, not a lean.
Listen, John Candy is a fucking Canadian
treasure. Oh, I mean, fucking look. I know we're having all these conversations about like tearing down statues and stuff. You know who we should be putting up more statues of? John fucking Candy. You know what?
Yeah, like everywhere.
Anybody who doesn't like a statue or a name on a school, it now becomes the John Candy School of Candy. The John Candy School.
The John Candy School of Candy.
Whatever.
What the fuck is that?
It's like the school for kids who can't read and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
what is this?
a center for ants.
I'm happy. I think everybody can get behind John Candy basically being on anything. Like even dead, I would have him as a prime minister. He's fantastic. And then we could have like Eugene Levy as like a finance minister. Oh fuck, just bring the whole SCT pass back and we'll just put them all in parliament. Fuck man, we just saved the country and you came up with a great movie. Fucking killing it on how do you like that movie? Do you have any criticism of this film at all?
The one continuity error that I kind of would critique is the ending.
Hey, go ahead.
Right. So spoilers. So when they're in their free, like the new game where people are just watching that, like them, the AI. I don't understand how Molotov Girls AI, since it's a brand new game, would still be the same skin and avatar from the other game, which was all guns and shit. If the new game doesn't have guns and shit, wouldn't she look different?
I mean, that's a good, really fucking video game nerd kind of comment or criticism, but okay, sure. Yeah, I can hear you on that. I can't even push back on that because I have almost no idea what you're talking about in the reference. Like in the game world, I don't know if you could do that or can't, because I think the last video game I played was fucking Super Mario Brothers. I was fucking shitty at that, and so that was the end of my video game career.
I think next year. Wait, next year for October, our Halloween episodes. Like hopefully we'll be back together, and if we're recording, we should have costumes, and then one episode we should just do. I'll be 70s cop with the mustache and you can be the bunny cop.
Oh, it took me a second to be like, where the fuck are you going with this? Yes. We'll put that in the maybe list, which I'm gonna put right in the waistband. So I did have, so my two criticisms are Ken. So again, this film's almost 2 hours long. It didn't need to be. I think 90 minutes would have been the sweet spot on this. Just tighten that fucking sucker up a bit. My big issue though, so I actually have two that are kind of connected. One, I feel like the outside romance, like between like the two like live characters, that didn't really need to be there. Like I do get that like you needed some of that in order to be like spoiler alert, Guy. They had to put in a love interest because that's what actually trips Guy on to his AI or whatever. But that aside, the actual ending, right? Like, so when she like runs down the street to like get him with the coffee, I just found that that scene and the length of time of those shots was way too long, right? Like she gets to the side. Hold on.
I was gonna say just 1 second. I was gonna say in terms of criticism, I think in terms of that criticism was how she came to the realization of where Guy's feelings actually came from in terms of writing it.
Yeah.
Because she literally had to rewatch a video with the guy literally saying at the end,
repeat.
Yeah, you're my dream girl.
Yeah. But I'm literally talking about like the shot choices, like the way, like actually it would be more of an editing choice because the amount of time between moving back between the shots, even that too, like the one shots, like the transitions between them, because basically she gets there, she gets to the one side of the street, she like yells his name, then he turns around, like it just felt very delayed. It's like, guys, we know what the fuck is gonna happen here, so just like do it more like The Notebook. Gets to the thing, oh my god, I love you, boom, and in the middle of the street, and then have them both hit by a car. Fade to black.
That's honestly what I thought was gonna happen. I thought they were like technically in like the other game, and I'm like, because it was always like the running gag in that movie too, guy getting hit by cars and getting hit by trains and shit. So I just thought at the end it was just gonna be like boom boom cars. Just
man, or would have even been better is so they get hit by a car. You scroll back, you come up, and it's so meta. They're a game inside a game, and like another nerd is playing them. You know what I mean?
So you're talking about the ending of Men in Black?
Yeah.
When
basically.
They open up the the locker, and they're like, yeah. Okay.
Other than that, like I said, I would recommend this to like obviously anybody who's into video games. You can watch this like as a family movie. You don't need to see it in the theater. I don't think it's playing anywhere in the theater anymore. Anyway, it might be though, because some theaters had like limited releases. But definitely watch it on video on demand. Watch it at home. It's a great like Sunday afternoon movie. It's Friday. It's actually a good Friday night movie. I would even say it's a good like date movie, as long as you're not trying to like Netflix and chill, because like you're actually going to be fairly engaged with this movie. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. I don't know if you've got anything for me, Scott. Otherwise, it's kind of like your show until we get out of here.
I just want to say, hey, I'm here with my one best friend, trying to help him through a tough time. And if that ain't real, I don't know what is.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
And that is our rant for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. If you're looking to get a hold of us, please go to our website at howdyoulikethatmovie.com. All our social media links are there, and you can email us as well.
That was a good ending, Scott. Like, you really fucking, you planned that all out and stuff. Look at you becoming a fucking professional podcaster.
See, I actually thought, like, I made sure I had that quote in there because, one, I knew you weren't going to say it. But two, I'm like, I thought you were just going to bash this the whole time, and I would be, like, countering, and then I'll just be like, listen, I'm just here trying to...
You're like, God damn it, I can't even rely on you to, like, not like a movie when I need you to not like a movie.
I was like, popcorn film, no, like, mini little pot, and, like, no real outcome. I'm like, oh, he's going to hate this film. I'm like, all right, I'm going to put this in there.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.